This stuff gets expensive. While we have a pretty good idea that data caps don't necessarily improve service or ease network congestion, we're seeing ISPs like Comcast add caps to more regions. It's up to you to budget that data and keep your bill in check. Here's our starter guide on staying under your cap and saving some cash. Even if your ISP caps your data, you'll still want to budget some megabytes for all the work here on reviews.org. So hit those subscribe buttons down below for more industry news, gadget reviews, and some upcoming contests and giveaways. Managing a modern household is tough. Basically, everything in your home now consumes some data. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone in our comments has a Wi-Fi enabled coffee mug. Please share a picture of your Wi-Fi enabled coffee mug. The insidious thing about data caps, they're kind of always in the back of your brain as a chilling effect on your behavior. Am I using too much data? Am I not using enough? I've always found the idea of quantity of data to be a terrible way to sell connection. Xfinity doesn't even offer rollover data, so you bought this chunk of stuff, and if you don't use it all, it goes away. But you can be sure if you use more, you're gonna get charged for it. The best way to live with data caps is building good habits with good information. First, we want a global view of how much data you're consuming, and your ISP should have a data usage monitor somewhere in their customer service website. That's about all your ISP is gonna be good for. Maybe a big bar graph. It's not terrifically helpful, but we should be able to see how often you're getting up to that cap or going over it. It's a start, and from there, we can dig a little deeper into your trends. We need to audit how many gadgets in your home are connected to the internet and see if we can find the gadgets that are eating up the most data. The biggest offenders are going to be consumer consumption gadgets, PCs, phones, tablets, streaming sticks, game consoles, etc. Since our ISP probably won't do a more granular accounting of how many gadgets are on your home network and how much data each is using, we have to do that ourselves. We can log into a Wi-Fi router and at least get a list of gadgets connected to that router. From there, each computing device should be able to tell you how much data it's using individually. If it has an option for network connection settings, somewhere in there you should be able to monitor that connection. It might look funny if you do a lot of local networking. For example, I edit videos off of my NOS, so it looks like I'm using a ton of data every month, but the computer is tracking local traffic in addition to web traffic. Still, Windows can give me a better accounting of every byte of data it sends or receives. Ditto Androids, iPhones, Macs, and game consoles. Sometimes streaming sticks can be a little trickier depending on what you use, so you might need to do some math on how much content you stream over a smart TV or streaming box. Netflix uses about 3 gigabytes of data per hour of HD video, and up to 12 gigabytes of data per hour of streaming 4K. It is fun having all the toys, but we're probably also duplicating a lot of network activity. If you have the same accounts, services, and games on your phone and your tablet, that's doubling the data use for the same information. So we've done a little auditing, we've tracked use around your home, and looked into more specific gadget details. We know how many devices are connected. Now we can set some budgets. Some devices you're not going to want to mess with that much, like network security cameras. Maybe you can save a little data by limiting how sensitive they are to alerts, but the effort to do that likely won't save you a ton of data, and the whole point of using those cameras is to track activity outside your home. Or data backups, cloud apps on phones and PCs. Sure, you can save some data by limiting how they work or what gets backed up, but that might also compromise your data. It's not going to feel great to stay under your cap, but then lose some precious photos because they weren't backed up properly. Security and backups. Some fine-tuning is a good idea, but those are the types of services I would try to budget around. A bigger data hog, streaming video services. We want to minimize streaming when you're not really watching. Some folks like to fall asleep to some TV playing. The noise can be comforting, but that can seriously eat into your data cap for use that isn't conscious. If it's the noise you need, maybe consider switching to music or podcasts. Those use a lot less data than video, and with multiple video streaming devices in your home, it might be worth limiting playback quality. The frustrating thing about Netflix, as an example, there doesn't seem to be an easy way to limit quality over Wi-Fi on the Netflix mobile app. You can control how much cellular data you use, but to control for Wi-Fi, you need to change your settings at the account level. For Netflix specifically, it also might be worth bumping your plan down a tier. Maybe you're fine with HD streams and you don't need that 4K. That could also save you an extra $4 a month on your subscription while using less data. HBO, Hulu, Disney+, YouTube, Amazon, each service is gonna be a little different in how you can control these kinds of settings. Some of this can be done at the account level, some needs to be done on each individual device. But considering the trends, the popularity of cord cutting, this is likely a large chunk of your data. So taking the time here to customize a little should have an impact on your overall use. Next, we can also fine-tune our social media behavior. Social media platforms want to lock our primate brains into staying on their service for as long as they can keep us. That time on site is critical for them. So when you install a social media app on a phone or a tablet, it's likely got all the bells and whistles cranked to 11, scrolling through your feed and videos autoplay, using a card-style interface where images are prioritized. It's all pretty to try and keep us zoned into that app. Well, we can tweak some of this too. Using Twitter as an example, we can customize high-quality images, high-quality video settings, and when videos will autoplay. It's actually pretty easy to just hit the data saver button in the app to shut down quite a bit of the eye candy stuff and save you a little traffic. And again, you'll need to track your own use. Maybe it's Facebook or TikTok, YouTube, or some other service. I scan a lot through Reddit, but anymore, I browse through a simplified list view. It's easier for me to find the articles I want to read without having to dig through larger image thumbnails. I just don't like the wasted space, but it also uses less data, so it's a win-win. For gamers out there, the good news is online gameplay usually doesn't hit your data that hard. The bad news is updating consoles and games can eat up a ton of data. And sometimes it seems that single update full of bug fixes and patches is basically just downloading a whole extra standalone game. Gigabytes and gigabytes used up in a single burst. This one's trickier because you've got to balance the convenience of your whole game library against the urge to play what you want when you want. The basics: try to limit game updates to just the games you're currently actively playing. You don't need to eat up extra data on your entire archive of games. Instead, you could use extra data near the end of your billing cycle to keep older games up to date. Use it or lose it, right? However, what I just said about gaming and data only works for traditional console and PC gaming. If you're starting to use cloud gaming services like Stadia, Game Pass, GeForce Now, your data usage is gonna spike hard. If your data connection can sustain Stadia's max 4K stream quality, you'll be using around 20 gigabytes an hour. Just one second, I'm gonna do some really tricky math. Yep, it totally checks out. If you have a 1 terabyte cap and did nothing but stream 4K gaming, your data would be nuked after about 50 hours. Likewise, 1080p gaming on Stadia uses a little more than half that data rate, around 12 gig per hour, so you'd get around 80 hours of playtime. Of course, that's a ridiculous magic number, because that's if you only streamed games on your connection and used it for nothing else. Right now, caps feel most punitive to new services, like game streaming, where an hour of HD gaming a day can chew through almost half of your monthly data. A very tangible example of how caps can have a chilling effect on innovation and new services. Lastly, you might be able to spread out some of your usage to your cell phone plan. Try to concentrate some services on your mobile data, like the previously mentioned social media examples. Maybe try to use those while on LTE or 5G, just to take some of the load off your home Wi-Fi. Make sure you keep an eye on your phone plan though. This would be a terrible idea if you pay per gig on your phone. Obviously, even on an unlimited data plan, you have to be careful with this tactic. Like, if I switch to 5G to scan through Reddit, but then forget to turn Wi-Fi back on before watching some Twitch, I could accidentally nuke my monthly cell phone data and get throttled like crazy. It all depends on your use and your family's use. But if you're paying for multiple data connections, you should definitely try to get your money's worth out of all those data pipes. Because at the end of the day, if ISPs are going to act like data is this precious resource measured by quantity, then we should normalize using all the data you pay for. If you routinely have extra data left at the end of the month, consider using that to help other family members with remote backups. You and a friend can set up hard drives in each other's homes for offsite storage. You could donate a little extra data to research organizations like Folding at Home. A tiny bit of data every month can help scientists, and there are a number of initiatives that offer similar distributed computing platforms to researchers. You can back up and seed legal torrents for your favorite programs and public domain media. I really like the open source image editing program GIMP, so I leave it in my BitTorrent client to help others download it faster. Archive.org often uses BitTorrent as a way to offload some of their bandwidth on public domain media. Use it or lose it, right? So make sure your needs are covered and that you've got some healthy padding, like a bit of a data buffer. But it's not hard finding some extra ways to use data if you find yourself consistently under your cap. Data caps suck, but a little information, a little monitoring, and some small changes in behavior, we can make them a lot easier to deal with. And for a little more info on managing caps, some tips you can employ from your router, check out the video we linked in the description down below. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, subscribing to the channel. For reviews.org, I'm Juan Carlos Bagnell, and I'll catch you all on the next video.